Being it's just my wife and I enjoy a good rib. I don't really want to run the smoker for 6-7 hours for 2 ribs. So we've got a toaster oven. I know how to make it in there. So let's flip the camera around and I'll show you the process. I'm going to pull this out nice and cold. This looks good. I'm going to save some of this. Be adding it to our sauce a little bit later. First thing we're going to do, get a clean towel. This is for drying off the ribs. We'll drain off all this stuff. Get as much of the liquid out of there. Put that down on that. And don't worry about those peppercorns. Put those back in right now. You can reuse these peppercorns for your crust, which I'm going to be. Still have a lot of flavor. I'm going to dry this off a little bit. Set this aside. A little bit of aluminum foil, line the bottom of the pan. Otherwise, you got a lot of cleanup to do afterwards, and kind of tough on that. That's not too big of a rack. Well, yeah, that's where my small rack is. So next thing we're going to do is take it off that. Make sure you wash this afterwards. And I'm taking something I like called The Usual. And it's just a mix. It's from Fire and Smoke Society. I believe this is one of my wife's clients. They sent us some stuff to try out. So appreciate the shout out. I'm just going to coat that. Both sides. Now, I've already pulled the silver skin off of this. I'm going to put this upside down. The reason for that is all that fat is going to render back into the meat. Do it nicely. Put this into the toaster oven. Set this for bake. 325 degrees. And I'm just go ahead and turn this thing on and come back and check it in an hour. Total cook time on this for this face should be about 3.5 hours. So we'll see you in about an hour. Okay, we've just flipped these things over. We've added some spice that was left over from the broth. There to put that back on there. Go ahead and shove it back in here for another hour. So we're about 2 hours into cooking our ribs. Added another 2 minutes, but all of that brine has been reduced. So we have probably, I would guess, 1/5 of mass, which means all those flavors are concentrated. So we got a gift from my mother-in-law of some barbecue sauce. She sent us 3 or 4. We're going to use apple nectar or apple hickory in this one. Just pour that in there. We're going to let this thicken up. It's going to be our sauce. So the other thing we had to do is clean it. We're only 2.5 hours into it. Let me start the rest of dinner. Oh, that's very good. I'm going to enjoy that. First, I'm setting up. We've been doing low heat on this. Go ahead and flip that over. Back over to the non-burnt side. So that sauce that we've taken the reduction from, I'm just going to do this. We're going to go ahead and increase our temperature to about 350, and then we're going to look at it at about half an hour. And then we're going to have a whole bunch of barbecue sauce. It'd be phenomenal. We've done this reduction from the original brining, and we've put in really good apple hickory stuff into that. So my mother-in-law gave that to us, and it's delicious. I've already had a taste of it. So we're going to put that back in another half an hour. We're going to increase our temperature to about 350 for about half an hour. And then we should be ready to make the rest of dinner. This is going to be good. One of the things that we are going to be doing is we're going to cook this down to a nice barbecue reduction. We're going to do up some salad. We've already got some biscuits ready to go. Got some asparagus ready to go, and that's going to be dinner. So, this is the biscuits. These are Pillsbury. They will work just quite fine. After the barbecue ribs are done, we're going to go ahead and put those in the oven. You guys will see them. The asparagus that we got, which is a local grocery store, we're not going to show that. It's asparagus, but you get to see the end of the meal. Wife wanted a bit of salad, right? So we're just going to scrounge what's out of there. A little bit of iceberg lettuce left. I'm making a big salad, it's just her and I. Cut it up all nice, stay out of the roots. That goes in the bowl. Lettuce is always first. There's some what we call yard onions here in the south, but these are called shallots when you buy them. Cut those up, put those in. You kind of want to stop where it turns green. So that kind of stuff, we don't want in our salad. This kind of stuff actually is good in a soup broth. But we're not doing that today. We'll do celery. One slice of celery. I typically like the whole celery with the flour top on it. It tends to be a bit cheaper, and I actually think it has a better flavor than all the cut stuff, because the cut stuff was cut before it was fully ripe, where the stuff with the leaf and stuff, it's actually got some flavor to it. That's actually what celery start. Put that in there. Got one carrot. You're going to cross the end. Make sure you wash your carrots ahead of time. Even though they do wash carrots, it's always a good idea to re-wash them. But you want the skin. The skin is where a lot of the vitamins are. I'm just going to come up on the diagonal. That's about half the carrot, and we're going to cut them in half. Into the celery. Bigger part of the carrot, we can just cut it in half. And we're just going to slice it up and along. So you can make this up ahead of time. Make sure that you've got all your dinner ready at the same time. So the barbecue is still going. We do have some biscuits that are basically take and bake. So I do 3, 4, 5. It actually should give us enough cheese just for this. Throw some cheese in there. It doesn't look like a lot, but there's only 2 of us, so. And then we have this, fresh tomatoes. It is season, so always try to do seasonal vegetables. 1 is cheaper, 2 is nutritious. 3, try to get level. So take off the ends, because it will end up eating those. We've got like 4 good slices there. We'll slice those in half. This is the salad. Mix that around a little bit. You don't have to change over to a fork or anything. Use the same tool. We're going to put this in the fridge until the pork ribs are done. Another half an hour. We'll check you back later. So we've done our 3.5 hours worth of video and 3.5 hours worth of cooking. Everything else is going just nicely. So we have the barbecue sauce with the apple hickory from my mother-in-law. We have some asparagus. We've got some pork ribs going in the toaster oven. And we're about 15 minutes out from going ahead and do them. So we're going to glaze them now. We're going to do some biscuits. They'll take 15-20 minutes. This is hot, so you need to pay attention to it. This should fall off the bone. So this is our original brine plus the barbecue sauce. We're flipping it back over. We'll do this. We're just going to go ahead and place it on. And now you can see why we actually put the foil down. Put it back in. Let that finish up. One of the things we're going to do is we've already got the asparagus started. We're going to let that run. So this is on number 8 on the electric stove. We're just going to let that boil out. Biscuit itself is only going to take 10 minutes after the barbecue is done, and we're going to cook it in the toaster oven. 10 minutes, that's it. We just heard the ding from the barbecue. We're doing 3.5 hours at about 275 degrees, 300 degrees, somewhere in there. Made our own barbecue sauce with a little bit of extra. Already been coated, all good. We got that. We have some asparagus. I want you guys to see this barbecue. This is in a toaster oven. This is fall apart. It smells so sweet. I've got some apple going. Look at that. That is gorgeous. We'll see if we can get the wife on camera to say happy about that. So last thing we got to do for dinner is we have some biscuits. It's 350 degrees for about 20 minutes. So we'll do that in the toaster oven too, because you can cook your entire dinner in a toaster oven. Well, except for the asparagus, and you can actually do the asparagus because I have a stove, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Let's pull out that, let it rest. Go ahead and do that. Go to 350. Do it for about 20 minutes. This is about done. That is done. We can let that rest, and this is going to be dinner.